Welcome to Lawyers Who Care, the video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. And on each episode, we'll meet a new lawyer and they will share stories of when they went beyond legal counsel for the benefit of their client. My name is Andrew Samalin. I'm the principal of Samalin Wealth, a nationally recognized wealth management firm for lawyers, their firms, and their clients. And let's applaud lawyers who care and learn from them. Today, my guest is Doug Meier. He is the managing partner at NK Patent Law in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Doug helps clients develop and protect strategic patent portfolios covering a wide variety of technological areas. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, Doug, what brought you to the law?
It was a little bit of a roundabout path for me, to be honest. It was not something I always wanted to do. I started out as an engineer. I began my career as an electrical engineer, did that for a few years and realized it just wasn't something that was exactly for me. That's when I started looking into other things. And because of my background in engineering, I kind of landed on patent law.
And so patent law, tell us what, your everyday looks like.
Yeah, these days it's a lot of phone calls, right? It's gotten pretty crazy. We do all kinds of IP work. So we do patents and trademarks along with strategic counseling. With the strategic counseling piece comes a lot of talking to clients. I bet I'm on the phone 5-6 hours out of the day. That's honestly my favorite part. I love talking to clients. I love hearing their real problems that they're dealing with and trying to help them find ways forward.
And, when we first started, we talked about, a particular client story. Do you want to share one of those with us?
Yeah, we had, we work with a lot of clients. We have a lot of really interesting stories, but I've got a recent one from recent memory that comes up. I've got a client who runs a very successful business, and the company believed that another much larger company had stolen or taken, I should say, some of their IP. It was really some of their core IP. And it was creating some real problems with them on their sales side for lots of reasons that I won't get into, but it was creating some problems on sales. And so we really kind of dug in on that issue. We gathered all the documents we could find, and we really got to the bottom of exactly what happened. We ultimately just reached out to this much larger company and explained to them, here's what happened, here's the problem we have, and let's figure it out. And we were able to negotiate a great sort of, win-win type deal, which I know everybody always says, but this actually was a win-win deal. And at the end of it, he got out of it, no litigation. There was really no bad blood even between the companies. Client went back to selling their product, and it just worked out really well. But the reason that one jumped out at me is I do love solving real problems, actual real people problems, not sort of academic legal problems, but things that people are facing. I've learned that most people come to you with a specific problem and want an answer. And I think a lot of lawyers have a tendency to live in the academic space about, well, here's what you could do, and here's what might be helpful. And I've learned through experience, clients want to know how to get out of whatever problem or how to resolve whatever problem they're having. They don't care about the academic nature behind it.
Right. So do you find that most of these issues are like unintentional? Do you find that, or is there just, they stole the technology and they're using it because they know that the settlement will be cheaper than not using it? Or what does that look like for you? Or is it just run the gamut?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. Most of the problems I see are not intentional, I would say, either internally or externally, right? I mean, my sense is people generally do want to do things right. I don't think there's this evil, malicious group of people out there. I mean, there are, of course, but I don't think that's sort of the standard or the default. I think that most people generally want to do things the right way. A lot of the internal problems that people come to us with are unintentionally created. They just didn't know better. They were doing what they were trying. They were working towards a goal. They just may not have had the full picture about how to get there, and may have made some missteps along the way. And then some. Look, there are other times where it is intentional. Those are always a little harder to deal with, and the unintentional ones are a little probably more satisfying.
So, Doug, I think before we wrap up, if you could leave our listeners with one takeaway with regard to your practice specialty, in your day to day, what would that be?
Yeah, I would say that for us, and I think in all lawyers, people love to think of lawyers as a necessary evil or a cost center, right? It always goes on the expenses side. I think that a good partnership is more about working together and actually driving value. I mean, yes, lawyers are expensive, and yes, nobody likes paying it. But at the end of the day, that pairing, that relationship should bring something to the table that actually, when they don't feel like it's just a cost center. And in the example I gave earlier, I don't think that my client felt like that at all. I think he got a great solution to a real problem for relatively low cost. So I think it's really about reframing the partnership and finding somebody who that works with.
Sounds perfect solution. By the way, I'd like to thank my guest, Doug Meier of NK Patent Law. Doug, can you provide our audience with your contact information?
Sure. The best way to reach me is by email at dmeier@nkpatentlaw.com or by phone. Well, you can get us on our website, which is nkpatentlaw.com.
Perfect. This has been the Lawyers Who Care video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. If you're an attorney or know one who does go above and beyond, feel free to reach out to us, 914-666-6600. Doug, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.